Happy New Year! I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season and you're refreshed and ready to launch into 2025 with bells on. The Edmonton real estate market is ready to bust out in the new year with a bang. And for this market update, we're going to chat about what happened in 2024 and then end with my predictions for 2025. So you'll want to stick around to hear about those, especially if you are planning to make a move in 2025. Looking back on 2024, sales were up a whopping 17.2% as compared to 2023, and average prices were up an amazing 12.2% year over year. That means if you bought a house in 2023, there's a good chance that your property has already increased in value depending on what type of home you purchased and the location, of course. All year, we were working with super tight inventory and lots of buyer competition. Year-to-date listings were down 7.3% total. So let's chat about what happened in December and then we can get into my 2025 predictions. In December, there were a total of 1,428 residential sales across the Greater Edmonton Area, and that's a drop of just over 25% from November. New listings came in at 1,367, which is 33.3% lower than November and 7.3% lower year over year, as I just mentioned. As for overall inventory, it saw a big decline, down 22.5% month over month and 24.6% compared to the same time last year. All of this is pretty much expected though for this time of year. So what do these numbers actually mean? Well, in our market, we typically see a slowdown as we move into the winter and the holiday season. So a month over month decline in sales is to be expected. And as I mentioned, year over year, we still kicked 2023's butt in terms of total sales, and we were up over 17% in total sales year to date. Listing inventory is super tight, and we had significantly fewer listings than we did in December of last year. So higher sales dollars amounts, lower inventory, which brings us to months of inventory. When we're looking at months of inventory for December, we were sitting at 2.45 months. So we're just looking at a slight increase from November when we were at 2.35 months of inventory, but that number obviously stayed pretty flat. We were around 2 months of inventory basically for the entirety of 2024, give or take. So this was definitely no surprise. To remind you, months of inventory means that if every available listing sold and nothing else was listed going forward, it would take about 2 months to sell all of the listings at the rate that houses are currently selling. A balanced market where buyers and sellers are on an even playing field sits at about 4 to 6 months of inventory. The average price for a home in the Greater Edmonton Area for December was still sitting at $436,000, which is exactly the same as it was in November. But overall, year to date, we've seen that 12.2% increase in average price. So this is great news for you sellers. Breaking it down further by housing category, detached homes sold for an average of $540,000, same as November. Duplexes for an average of $409,000, which is down 1% month over month. Townhouses for $293,000, which is up 1.4% month over month. And looking at year over year pricing, detached homes are up 12.2%, semi-detached 10.6%, row housing up 12.3% year to date, and condos are also up 19.8%, which is a huge buck in the trend as compared to recent years where the pricing's been pretty flat overall. You can actually still buy a fantastic condo in downtown Edmonton for around $200,000 or less, which is great news for the buyers that are looking for affordable home ownership, but it's also great news for any sellers who have been considering listing their condo. The average days on market has increased to 44 days. It was taking 41 days for a property to sell on average in November. So inventory continued to move decently despite that holiday season. The average days on market for December of 2023 was 52 days. So overall, in 2024, houses sold quicker and for more money than they did in 2023. The headline for December's market update press release from the Realtors Association of Edmonton was "Low inventory set stage for a continued seller's market," and I wholeheartedly agree. Going forward into 2025, I definitely think that we will continue to see low inventory sustaining that seller's market. So a low level of listings with a high buyer demand. This seller's market will also continue to lead to that price appreciation. And we will continue to see those increases in average pricing across the board. Even though we saw a significant rise in the average prices year over year in the Greater Edmonton Area, we're still the most affordable, larger city in Canada. And because of this, we do have buyers moving to the area constantly in hopes of homeownership and higher levels of disposable income as well. Many of these relocators are first-time home buyers, and throughout the last few years, we've seen a ton of activity and sales in that $300,000 to $450,000 price range as a result. In this range especially, and because of the seller's market that we've been in, I predict that we'll have a notable increase also in the number of multiple offer situations that will be occurring as we move into the spring market. Typically, our spring market starts to take off mid to end of January into February. So this is when I think those bidding wars are going to get hot again. So buyers, make sure you have an agent that knows how to coach you to win. If you have that experienced realtor that knows how to navigate multiple offer situations, it's important to take their advice. If a property is listed at market value, for example, this will not be the market to submit a low ball offer, unfortunately, in most scenarios. And just trust the advice of your agent and get pre-approved in advance of your home search. Sellers, make sure your agent is strategic and knows how to help you navigate multiple offer situations to get you top dollar for your property. And if your property is valued at around $450,000 or less, this will be a fabulous market for you to list in. That being said, houses are not going to sell themselves. You still have to be priced appropriately and marketed immaculately to get top dollar for your home. iPhone listing photos are just not going to cut it, so make sure you're putting your best foot forward. So that was 2024. If you're looking for a personalized evaluation on how the current market trends could impact you, I'd be happy to chat. Send me an email and we can start the conversation. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time.